I haven't done a video like this in so long, but I have so many boxes here. I'm gonna try to hold them up because this is my workout for the day. No, just seriously, I did go work out this morning, but oh my God, that's so many. And I haven't done a Amazon book haul in, I think it's been 4 months maybe, so I hope you guys really enjoy this video. You guys know that I love shopping on Amazon because I can find books by authors that like aren't hyped up yet, just like new indie authors. I love finding books that I feel like need just a little bit more love and then sharing them with you guys. I also love reading diversely, and I try to read between 16 to 20 books a month. And I always make sure to read like 10 books by Black authors, but also just like sprinkle in other books in there as well. And I feel like Amazon is a great place for me to find books that are not gonna be in indie bookstores and they're not gonna be in like Barnes & Noble. So I do love shopping in indie bookstores and in Barnes & Noble. And actually in the last video I picked up this entire stack of books right here. I went on a no budget like book buying day because y'all, this election and just like the seasons changing and like all the things have just had me down bad. So I went book shopping, and in the next vlog I will also be going book shopping because that's on retail therapy and self-care. So I'm gonna go through these boxes. I don't even really remember exactly what is in each one. So we'll start with like one of the smaller ones here. I actually had to like go through our garage because in our garage I had so many boxes that weren't broken down because like every time I get a package I just like open it up, throw it on the ground, and then just like don't do anything with it. So now our garage is like super organized and stuff, but it has taken me so long to get all those boxes broke down. So now I'm gonna try to break down boxes like kind of as they come in or as I open them. Let me know if anyone else is like that. Like, it's just not my job to break down boxes. I will say my husband does it a lot, but he doesn't work from home, and so I just like throw it in there during the day. Oh, okay, so this book right here is called What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. This is a book by a Black author, and I've never read a book by her, but I've been trying to get into like more like dark romance type of vibe. She writes more of that, and I feel like if you read like urban romance, it has a similar vibe to dark romance, but it's not the same like at all. And I feel like the books that I've seen from her are very much dark romance. And I want to find more books by Black authors that like share that type of writing. I just love like recommending stuff to you guys, but I also love reading like literally everything. I haven't really gotten into fantasy. That's like one area that I feel like I don't really know much about. Or science fiction. That's another area that I'm like, don't ask me for Rex because I'm not the one. But romance, thrillers, historical fiction, contemporary fiction, all of those are like books that I feel like I read on the regular now. I feel like last year I read mostly like romance and thrillers only. This book, it says, he's back and he still wants me, he still loves me, but now I'm engaged to another man. And this just looks really good. I have so many books, so I don't really want to like read the back of every single one, but I feel like you guys get the gist. This actually has a new cover as well. This isn't like the original cover. I think the original cover has like some people like kissing or something on it. And then I got this. I don't remember what this one is. This one is, The Favorite Girl by Monica Array. You don't want to be chosen as the favorite girl. And this was actually a recommendation from Adrienne, and she has a TikTok. It's called A Dose of Books. She recommends so many good thrillers, and I feel like I love a thriller, but I'm very harsh with my ratings with thrillers because usually I don't care about the characters and I just want a really fast, good plot line. And it's hard to find books like that. Like, I feel like it's very rare that you can find a fast plot line that also has a like good plot line and it's gonna like keep you guessing. But her like recs are always so good. I will link her below if you guys want to follow her. This says every family has secrets, dark ones, twisted ones, ones they hide. The Ivory family is no different. From the outside of their gated estate, One would see a beautiful, wealthy family, but the more perfect they seem, it only shows how many imperfections they're trying to bury. When Demi Rayo, a young woman, is at her wit's end and on the run from escaping her captor, she comes across an employment ad from the Ivory family looking for someone to help maintain their elaborate estate. Although the ad is strange with meticulous directions to wear all white, no makeup, and speak quietly, Demi applies. With no choices, why does this sound like The Housemaid? With no choices, Demi gets and accepts the job, and when she does, she quickly realizes that she's not there to clean, she's there for a purpose. They picked her, they chose her, they've always known her. Okay, it's definitely different. Behind the doors of the pristine estate lies secrets, a lethal human experiment, and Demi's entire life planned out for her. The Ivories have picked a favorite girl, and it might just be her. Wow. The words are also super big. Like, this will be one that I could finish really fast, and it is like almost 400 pages, but literally the words are massive, and the chapters are really short. It actually kind of looks like Frida McFadden's books if you've ever read any of her thrillers. And then I have this box right here. Try to open this. I always buy a box cutter and I never use it in every video that I have. I'm like, oh, it'd be great to have a box cutter. Okay, this box is actually a bunch of books that I've already read, but I wanted to buy more books because I am going to be giving books to friends for Christmas. So I actually have a huge stack. These are some of my favorite books that I've read this year, and this is, whoa, this is 5 books. And again, these are all books I've read except for one. So the one that I haven't read is The First Ladies, and this is the like unlikely story, or the story of the unlikely friendship of Mary Bethune and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. I've been getting into historical fiction and really loving it. I feel like I have a lot of just like, I don't know, I've been really leaning in historical fiction because I know so much about Black history, but we can all learn so much more, and I feel like there's so many small stories like this one, like Mary Bethune's story, that maybe we've heard of before, but like we don't know like the deep account of her life. And I feel like books like this, they give you so much information versus like in history books in college or in history books in high school or whatever, like they'll maybe give you like a small segment to study like that person, and then you kind of like move on to the next thing. So I've been really liking that, just like learning about people that I kind of already know about or maybe have never heard of before, and I'm just like diving into the history even more than I already have in the past. I read The Personal Librarian by this author duo, because it's 2 people, and I really loved it. It was like just so incredible. It's about JP Morgan's personal librarian, and such an incredible story. I actually had no idea who she was prior to reading that book, and I also didn't know that she lived her entire life passing for white. And just, it was incredible. So I want to pick up this book because it was a very easy read, reading The Personal Librarian. Now for all the books that I have read, I have read This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This was a 5-star read for me. If you have never read any of Kennedy Ryan's books, this is such an incredible book to read. One, if you normally like reading contemporary fiction, because I feel like this definitely has that vibe. But if you're a romance girly, I feel like you'll also like it too, because it is just like the romance in this. Judah Cross is freaking like perfect. It also gives slow burn vibes. Like there's this one spice scene that's like super heavy and super spicy, but like you don't really get a ton throughout. It also focuses so much on solo dating, which I've never read a book about someone who is learning to love themselves like I have with this one. Like there's books where I feel like people are like, oh, I want to learn to love myself, but then they're also like dating people and stuff. This is like she goes on this solo journey to like find herself, find who she is, while she's still being a mother and while she's still trying to like get her career really off the ground. It's just such a story that like I feel like I've never read something like this before. I also picked up Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. This is one of my favorite series because it just reminds me of Gossip Girl. Like the characters are just absolutely unreal. Like the things that they do, I am just like, did that actually happen? I mean, granted it's a book, but still, like it feels like you're watching a TV show. This is about a girl who is like everybody's it girl. Everyone wants to be her. They're stupid rich. Like they like fly on private jets and stuff. Like they're always hopping around doing these like wild things. And she is, again, someone that everyone wants to be, but she kind of keeps her life very private. And she's had an on again, off again relationship with this guy, BJ. And the whole series is about their mess. It is messy. If you like messy books, you'll like this series. If you don't like messy books, you might not like it. But like, you have to be in the mood for mess, like, because they're just like, they're messy. Like, they talk about each other behind each other's backs. Like, they will like say they're not gonna do something to a friend and they'll do it. And like, they're just messy people. And it's about Magnolia, but also her friend group. And then Daisy Hates is set in the same timeline as Magnolia Parks. Like, it's literally the same like year and everything, but she has a different friend group. And so they kind of cross over a little bit, like when they go to galas and stuff, but not too often. Love this series. It's literally one of my favorite series. And I think it's like a 5-book series. And then I also read A Love Like the Sun by Rissa M. Nielsen. This is by a Black author who I think she was self-published first. Maybe not. I could be wrong. But love this book. This is a friends to lovers story. And this is one that I feel like if you like a, like, it was always you moment in a book where like the guy is just like, it's always been you. Like, I've always known it was you. Like, something like that, you'll really love this story. It is spicy, but not like wildly spicy. And it's one of those stories that has just so many deeper themes as well. They talk a lot about how the main character is trying to get her business off the ground and she's really struggling because she's an entrepreneur, and like that in itself is just like work. And I really liked this entire story. This is the first book I've read of hers. It's her debut book. And then I have another big box to open, so we can open this one together. I can't remember what's in this one either, but it's like falling apart. Oh, okay, so this one has lots of books as well, and I have, I think, 4 books in here. I'm gonna try to pull these out. A lot of these books have been either recommended to me or I like saw on TikTok or something. And if I remember exactly who recommends something to me, I always try to say like the creator who did it, because there's so much love to go around. Like, if you're following me, it doesn't take anything from me for you to go follow someone else. So I always try to share like different people that I'm loving, like in almost, not every video, but in most videos, I'll try to share like somebody that I've been like watching or loving, because again, there's room for all of us. So these are 4 books that were in this box. I picked up The Invincible Summer of Juniper Jones. One of you guys in the comments said that I need to pick up this because I've been getting into historical fiction, and I think this is a YA book, I'm pretty sure. It says it's the summer of 1955 for Ethan Harper, a biracial kid raised mostly by his white father. Race has always been a distant conversation. When he's sent to spend the summer with his aunt and uncle in small town Alabama, his blackness is suddenly front and center, and no one is shy about making it known he's not welcome. Enter Juniper Jones, the town's resident free spirit. She's everything the townspeople aren't: open, kind, and accepting. Armed with 2 bikes and an unlimited supply of root beer floats, Ethan and Juniper set out to find their place in a town bent on rejecting them. As Ethan is confronted for the first time by what it means to be black in America, Juniper tries to help him see the beauty in even the ugliest reality, and that even the darkest days can give rise to an invincible summer. And this is a Wattpad book. So I've never heard about this book until one of you guys commented it. I'm really excited to read that one. This is by a Black author. I'm like 99.9% sure. And then I also picked up Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. One of you guys also commented this when I said that I'm having a hard time finding books that have like a plot, like thriller books that have a plot that's like fast paced but also like a good plot. Like, I feel like I've read a lot of Freida McFadden books and I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, okay, it's fast paced, but like, where's the plot? Like, why is this girl so dumb? And that's like how I feel with most books, like of hers. Like, I haven't really had a ton of hers that I've been obsessed with. I did really like The Teacher, but the last 2 books that she released this year specifically, like that I read, I was like, I don't really like them. I want to spend my time reading other thrillers, but they have to be fast-paced for me. Like, they genuinely cannot be slow-paced, because if I'm going to read something slow-paced, I'm going to read a romance or contemporary fiction or historical fiction or literally anything else. It's also hard to have a book that's slow-paced when I don't care about the characters, because in thrillers I really don't. Like, they could kill off anyone and I'm like, huh, okay, that's how a thriller goes. Like, I just am not like super connected to them. So this says, she will kill your worst enemy. All you have to do is kill hers. And I wish that books had like more blurbs, just like short blurbs on the back. Like the first book that I read by QB Tyler had like a short little blurb. That for me is like perfect. And some of you guys have actually asked if I can like give you a synopsis of what the book's about, but I genuinely just don't want to turn off the camera and like read it and then tell you guys it and then turn it back on. Like it's just so much extra work. So like we can just read it together. It says, one dark evening on New York City's Upper West Side, two strangers meet by chance. Over drinks, Amanda and Wendy realize they have much in common, especially loneliness and the intense desire for revenge against the men who destroyed their families. As they talk into the night, they come up with the perfect plan. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. In another part of the city, Ruth is home alone when the beautiful brownstone she shares with her husband, Scott, is invaded. She's attacked by a man with piercing blue eyes who disappears into the night. Will Ruth ever be able to feel safe again while the blue-eyed stranger is still out there? As these storylines collide in this Hitchcockian and heart-racing psychological thriller, Kill for Me, Kill for You grips you and doesn't let you go until the shocking conclusion. This also looks like a really like easy read too. I don't know what it is. I love thrillers, but like lately they just have not been hitting, and I don't know if I've just been picking the wrong ones or what. I also picked up The Color of a Lie. I think that this is a young adult book. I'm pretty sure it says two worlds, two different versions of himself. Calvin knows how to pass for white. He's done it plenty of times. For his friends in Chicago when they wanted food but weren't allowed in restaurants. For work when he and his dad traveled for the Green Book. This is different. After a tragedy in Chicago forces the family to flee, they resettle in an idyllic, all-white suburban town in search of a better life. Calvin's father wants them to embrace their new lifestyle, but that's easier said than done. Hiding your true self is exhausting, which leads Calvin across town where he can make black friends who know all of him and where he can spend more time with his new crush, Lily. But when Calvin starts unraveling dark secrets about the white town and his inhabitants, passing begins to feel even more suffocating and dangerous than he could have imagined. Expertly weaving real historical events with salient reflections on being black in America, acclaimed author Kim Johnson takes readers back in time to reveal powerful truths whose echoes are still felt. I think one of you guys recommended this to me. Like, I had a video where I was saying I'm just like loving historical fiction and like getting into it more, and I'm pretty sure that a bunch of you guys like left recs and I just like picked some random ones and I was like, I'm just gonna buy them. I trust you guys' recommendations and I love reading them because it kind of feels like our own little book club together. I also have this box. Now this is the biggest box that I have out of all of them, trying to make sure the address is not on the front. This is the biggest box that I have out of all of them. It is very heavy. So we're gonna open this together because it's got, oh my gosh, guys, there's so many books in here. They stuffed this. Guys, look at this. Oh, you can't see. let me take these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not even close to done. 6, 7. Now, a lot of these are, I think, the Urban Romance box that I got. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wow, guys, this is wild. 13, 14. And then I got a tripod because it got stolen whenever I was out of town. 14 books that we have in this one box. Now, most of these are urban romance. I wouldn't say most, I guess like half probably. I love reading urban romance books. I feel like I finish them so fast because they're just so fun to read. So I got a lot, and that's also another reason why I love shopping on Amazon, because you can't find that in a lot of bookstores. I feel like even the black-owned bookstores that I've been to, like I've been to recently, Semicolon Books in Chicago, that was like 2 weeks ago. I did a whole vlog with it. A lot of black-owned bookstores have books that are like contemporary fiction focused, or they are like historical fiction focused and young adult. And they'll have like some romances sprinkled in there, but like I just have found it's been very rare. And I've been to a few, like every time I go to a new city, I try to find an independent bookstore and a black-owned bookstore. And it's just, I have not found one that is like black-owned and also focuses on romances. So if you guys know one, let me know, because I would love to pick up books from there specifically. But I picked up Don't Call Me Crazy by Octavia Grant. I've read 3 books by Octavia Grant, and her books are so good. If you're about to be in a book slump, please pick up one of her books. They're usually less than 80 pages. This one's like 91 pages. Still, again, super short. and they will leave you on the edge of your seat. There was one book that I read of hers where someone literally got shot point blank in the face, and I was like, that came out of nowhere. Like, that literally came out of nowhere. And I had just, you know how books kind of like lead you to like what's gonna potentially happen? Like, she does not do that at all. She just writes what she writes, and this woman has a mind of her own, and I love it. So this says award-winning investigative reporter Ivory Addison has been on the scene of every local, national, and international event deemed newsworthy. Her work ethic has a certain je ne sais quoi that has not gone unnoticed, but is that a good thing? When television execs offer top dollar for Ivory to host her own true crime show, is it to advance her career or help uncover secrets? As Ivory interviews Amalia Havoc, she can't help but wonder if she bit off more than she can chew by accepting this new opportunity. Not someone's last name being Havoc, like she just sounds like she's like gonna be unhinged. I also picked up If You Ever Did Me Wrong, Don't Trust Me by Octavia Grant. This will probably be the longest book by Octavia Grant I've ever read, because it's 209 pages and it's still so short. This one says Mario's biggest regret was losing Reese. He hated that he lost the woman he loved to someone he didn't want to keep. After years of searching for her, Mario believes that he has a chance to make things right when they finally reconnect. Unfortunately for him, he failed to realize that Reese's happy demeanor and pleasant smile hides the true fury burning deep within her. The Reese he once knew is long gone. Now he's left with a scorned, hate-filled, bitter woman hell-bent on revenge. Mario learns I can't even speak. Mario learns the hard way that even when a woman wears an award-winning smile, you never really know what she's thinking. Again, her books, unhinged. Like, if you're in like a book slump, please pick up one of her books. This is go with one of these books. I got a workbook, but it says it's for a book, but I don't even think I have this book, so I don't know why I have this. I have to check my order. I'll show you guys that later, because maybe I did end up getting the book. I can't remember. I also picked up Where the Lost Wonder by Amy Harmon. So many of you guys recommended her book. Life in a wagon train is fraught with hardship, fear, and death, but as John and Naomi are drawn to each other, the trials of the journey and their disparate paths work to keep them apart. John's heritage gains them safe passage through the hostile territory, only to come between them as they seek to build a life together. When a horrific tragedy strikes, decimating Naomi's family and separating her from John, the promises they made are all they have left. Ripped apart, they can't turn back, they can't go on, and they can't let go. Both will have to make terrible sacrifices to find each other, save each other, and eventually make peace with who they are. You guys recommended this, so I'm hoping that it's good. And then I also picked up The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. Lucinda Berry is one of my favorite thriller authors. I think I've read like 4 of Lucinda Berry's books. This has like a small blurb, so I'll just read that. It says, for eager adoptive parents, getting what they always wanted has chilling consequences. I've heard that this is a really great book of hers. I've read Appetite for Innocence, really love that one. Read Saving Noah. I read, I cannot think of the name, but I can think of what the cover looks like. Phantom Limb. And I've also read, there's one like where she was in a cult, and I think that's all. I think I've read 4 actually. So yeah, pick this one up. I needed like a fast-paced thriller that I knew I was going to enjoy. And then I also picked up, and then there was Passion. I think this is one of my most like anticipated reads. This book came out, I'm pretty sure this year, and it came out by Asia Monique. I recently read, this literally just came out this year. I recently read And Then Life Was Beautiful by this author and fell in love with that book. I've also read Dear Amelia by her and really enjoyed that one, but it was a novella, and I'm not like a big novella person, so I needed to read like a full-fledged story, and I ate that book up. If you guys go back to one of my vlogs, I think it was like 2 vlogs ago or 3 maybe. It was like pretty recent. I just was like gushing over it and fell in love with that story. So this one, I think continues, but it's like someone else's story. This is Calix Moore was nothing I'd ever experienced in life. This is what June said. Oh my God, it's about his sister. Ah! Oh my gosh. It says he stormed in with no regard for what I might do to my heart, only his own. I wanted to open up and give him a chance, same as I had the first night we met, the night we threw all caution to the wind and spent 12 passionate hours behind closed doors. But when the sky brightened and looked next to me, I knew I could never allow him to see me again, except fate had other plans, and now he's standing in front of me at the place of my business with a knowing smirk pulling at his lips. I hadn't been prepared for this for him. And then it says, Calix Moore. June Hansen was everything I wanted to experience in this life. She embodied the love I wanted to give and receive. I wanted her to open up and give me a chance to prove myself like she had the first night we met, the night I looked across the empty bar we were in and decided I would convince her to leave with me. When I woke up the next morning and found she left, I thought I'd never see her again until fate stepped in and brought me to her once more. I prepared for this, for her. I cannot wait to read this book. I rated And Then Life Was Beautiful 4.5 out of 5 stars. I just raved about that book so much and have been very, very excited to read this one. So, cannot wait to read that. I definitely will be reading that one very soon. I also picked up Keva's Dream by Elle Medeiros. I've never read anything by this author. I found this book on TikTok. That's where I find like a lot of books that I feel like are needing a little bit more hype. And this one, it says, life has a way of staying in the unfair lane while waving at you at the same time. Love and loss are connecting themselves to me and I'm over it. I wanted little outside the love of my life and a baby. First, my unconditional love departed, my conditional love followed, and soon after, my body turned on me. The way I view things, partaking in a one-night stand shouldn't be a big deal. The smooth batter piece of chocolate approached me first. Why not? I'm owed something for carrying life's baggage. My suitor for the night decided one encounter wasn't enough to fill his need. Against my wishes, he inserted himself into my life, demanding things I swore off years ago. And that was Keva, and then it says here, I wasn't looking for anything, including a good time. Being at the wrong place at the right time paid off with a night of pleasure. Everything in me said leave her alone, but I couldn't resist. At least a small taste. I've had nothing so delicious and decided I needed to sample it again. But she ghosted me, never being the one to take no for an answer, and with unlimited resources, I found her again. This time around, she became more than a pleasurable moment. She became my anchor. Someone to keep me grounded in my new identity as I'm steadying myself to fully take on a life of legal means. My past comes calling. Before I could handle the interference, but now I've got too much to lose. Resisting temptation is no easy feat, especially when things become deadly. Oh, this looks so good. Guys, that looks so freaking good. I cannot wait to read that. And then I picked up Don't Be in Love by Leanne Sincati. This is by the author who wrote Picking Daisies on Sundays. Picking Daisies on Sundays is a no-spice adult romance, which I feel like is hard to find sometimes. And that book, I think they're like in college and you get a lot of the tension, like all the same things that you would want to get out of a romance. You just don't get the spice. Really love Picking Daisies on Sundays, and I feel like it's hard for me to really love a book with like absolutely no spice. And I really love that one. So I had to pick up this one. It says, when 21-year-old career-driven Adelaide Adorno decides to transfer to one of the most prestigious universities in the world, London's Townsend University. For her senior year, she couldn't be happier. Moving to London granted her new friends, a gorgeous apartment in the city, and a chance to work in luxury marketing. Until she meets Dorian Blackwood, the youngest of the prominent British family, known for their impression on the entertainment industry, who's plastered across every tabloid in Europe for his famous parents, handsome look, and notable dating life. He's not only a student at Townsend University, but the person her new best friend and roommate is absolutely in love with, which is how Adelaide ultimately becomes twisted into a deal with Dorian to keep their secret. But just because Dorian agrees to keep their secret doesn't mean he'll make a life easy for her. Every lavish gala, photographed event in the city, an excuse to wear an expensive gown becomes a risk for their secret to come out. With Adelaide's friendship on the line and her future career at risk, she'll do anything she can to avoid him, which should be easy for someone who doesn't date, let alone believe in love, right? I'm really excited to read this one too. This one actually was like re-released. She released it and then Picking Daisies on Sundays like popped off, and so she like wanted to do more edits on this book, so she just released this year. And then I picked up Now this is one of my most anticipated releases. I've heard everyone talking about this book, like literally everyone. And I picked up Losing Control. This looks amazing. I've just heard such great things about it. I need to read it. This is by a Black author. I've heard literally everyone and their mom say like, pick this book up. And that's how I felt when people were recommending Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen. I was just like, okay, I get it. I need to read it. Like I'm gonna read it eventually. No, I picked up that book and did not want to put it down and read it in like 24 hours or something like that. And it's like over 750 pages. So I feel like there's just some books that like when people hype them up, they are genuinely worth the hype. So I wanted to pick this one up, and this one is a long one. This one has almost 600 pages, but I will say like the words are really big, and I feel like it'll be one that I just zoom through. It says, deemed Detroit's bad boy, is his name Cesar? Is a man of many layers. To the world, he's a lyrical genius with a sharp tongue and tough exterior, but behind closed doors, he battles with dark demons from his past while dodging industry drama, scandals, and lies. Marley is walking through life barely existing. Her soul is shattered by tragedy, leaving her with a heavy heart and a broken spirit. She's content with fading into the shadows, and it works for her until she collides with him. Cesar is a walking red flag. Marley is emotionally unavailable. Together, they're destined for emotional turmoil, and just when they have it all figured out, the duo learns that the past is a sneaky way of preying on the future. I, again, am bumping this up to the top of my TBR. Like, I need to read this ASAP. It just seems like it's going to be one of those books that I'm not going to want to put down at all. And then I also picked up Close Knit by Kells and Denise Stone. I've never read anything by this author duo, but they are independently published, so they don't have any books that would be in most, like, even independent bookstores. I haven't found them in literally any that I've been to. I've even been to romance bookstores in New York City, and I went to a romance-focused bookstore in Chicago and didn't see their books in there either. This was their recent release, and it actually looks really good because it's about a soccer player and a girl who knits. She's like a knitting influencer, and I think they like fall in love. I don't know exactly like the whole premise behind it, but I just thought that would be a unique take on just like two people falling in love. I try to find books that are like so unique, you know what I mean? Like a knitting influencer, like yeah, I need to read this, and it's about a soccer player. So it looks really good. I know that their books are spicy, so I definitely will have to be in the mood for like heavy spice. I'm pretty sure that I was gonna say I think it starts with spice, but I'm not sure. This the intro of this is very sweet. It says, to anyone who has felt that their softness was a penalty. I really like that. That is very sweet. So I picked that one up. I also picked up Rhythms Blues by Kimberly Brown. I have never read anything from Kimberly Brown, and please tell me which is the best book to read. I have heard Tethered Love is good. I've heard Rhythms Blues is good. There's one more that I have heard is really good. I can't remember exactly the title of it, but I am always scared trying new authors. Like, I don't know why. I just think there's something in me that like whenever people hype up a new book, I get like, I put like them on a high pedestal. Like I have high expectations because everyone's like, these books are so good. And sometimes again, they are that. Like when I read Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen, or when I read Luca by Gray Huffington, like all those books exceeded my expectations. Not exceeded, they met my expectations because they're already really high. But sometimes like Kimberly Brown, I've heard her books are incredible. Sometimes I'm just like, I need to just like pick a book and just read it. I have high expectations for all of them, so it doesn't really matter which one I pick, but I also love to hear you guys' feedback. This says, being the girlfriend of a successful rapper isn't all it's cracked up to be. Rhythm Baker, a successful occupational therapist, held it down for Raheem, her boyfriend of 3 years, without much complaining. After moving across the country to support his career, and their relationship, Rhythm has grown increasingly uncomfortable with Raheem's inappropriate behavior and inflated ego. Feeling disrespected, unappreciated, and unheard, she moves out of the home they share, ending their relationship. Despite his recent moves, Raheem isn't willing to let her go so easily. Channing Watson, a renowned music producer, not me like, whoo, just like, I don't even know who this person is, and I just am already like ready to hear about them, meets Rhythm by chance when he's called by his mother to change a flat tire at her therapy clinic. With their connection unknown and instant attraction fueled by lust, a one-night stand becomes inevitable. Though she thought it was over, Rhythm and Channing continue to run into each other, and feelings become just as inevitable as the night of passion they shared. Complications arise when they discover that Channing is in fact Raheem's new producer and Rhythm is his ex. Though their entanglement is messy, Rhythm and Channing's connection only grows deeper as they navigate the potential fallout that's sure to come. With Raheem unwilling to let her go or do right, Rhythm is ready to move on and be happy, but will the solace she finds in Channing's presence be ruined once their relationship comes to the light? Woo, this looks good! I just love reading good books. I also picked up Work Husband by Octavia Grant. I already own this, but one of my friends borrowed it, and I just don't know if I'm ever gonna get back, and I never really like to ask, because it's like, that's just $10. Like, I know people take a while to read books sometimes, especially people who don't normally read a lot of books, and they took the book to read, and I am loving that they're like wanting to read it, and I never want to be like, hey, have you read that book yet? Like, give it back. So I'll just spend another $10 because honestly, I could read this book again, and it's kind of giving like spooky vibes, which was kind of when I wanted to get it to maybe read it again. But I also have the other books, and you guys know that my Kindle was stolen whenever I went to Vegas, so like I can't even read on Kindle Unlimited, so like I need my physical copy. So I just picked up another one because I love this book. Already read it, and it was just really good. I also picked up Still Lake House by Rachel Kane. This is another thriller I've heard great things about. It says the killing didn't stop when they caught her husband. Gina Royal is the definition of average, a shy Midwestern housewife with a happy marriage and 2 adorable children. But when a car accident reveals her husband's secret life as a serial killer, she must remake herself as Gwen Proctor, the ultimate warrior mom. With her ex now in prison, Gwen has finally found refuge in a new home on remote Stillhouse Lake. Though still the target of stalkers and internet trolls who think she had something to do with her husband's crimes, Gwen dares to think her kids can finally grow up in peace. But just when she's starting to feel at ease in her new identity, a body turns up in the lake, and threatening letters start arriving from an all too familiar address. Gwen Proctor must keep friends close and enemies at bay to avoid being exposed, or watch her kids fall victim to a killer who takes pleasure in tormenting her. One thing is certain, she's learned how to fight evil, and she'll never stop. I feel like moms who are fighting for their kids, it's like, you do not mess with them. Like, do not mess with them. This looks good. Also, another book that is very high on my list of books that I want to read. Honestly, like, I keep saying that, but this is like so true. This book right here, Capone by Jaquel J. I actually have a Christmas book by this author that I'm like about to read right now. I'm currently in the middle, or I currently just finished A Novel Christmas by Charity Shane in I think my last video. But I have been wanting to read this one, and I feel like introductions to an author through Christmas books sometimes don't do them justice, because if they're an incredible author and I read a Christmas book, I already kind of know what I'm gonna get. You know what I mean? It's gonna be fluffy, it's gonna be cutesy. I feel like I need a real experience of their writing, and I've heard from so many people that this book is incredible. It says, I shouldn't have felt this way about her. She's my brother-in-law's first love. She was forbidden fruit. Ain't ish ever been forbidden for me. You guys know I don't curse, but obviously it doesn't say ish on the back of the book. It says, I take what I want, and I want her. I shouldn't have these strong feelings for a woman I just met. I wanted to lay every man that even thought about looking her way, including my brother-in-law. Aaron was mine before she even knew it. Our paths were meant to cross, our future intertwined. I don't like liars or thieves, but for Aaron, I'd pull that ski mask on and steal her heart if that's what it takes. He's my first love's brother-in-law. Everything about Capone has told me to stay away from him. He's not good for me. He has the power to make me feel again, and the last time I felt anything for someone, it nearly destroyed me. I should stay away from him, but every part of my body is betraying me. Screaming, yearning, craving his touch, and for him to be close to me. I don't think he would ever need to steal my heart, because I would gladly hand it over to him. Oh, this looks so good too. Oh my God, I need to read this one. This just looks so good. Guys, why is every book just looking so good? Like, I can't. Like, what do I read first? Oh my gosh. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this was the book, the workbook that I got. It says the workbook for the tears that taught me, but I don't even think that I bought that book. So I got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's see if I can even get all of these on me. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh my gosh. 24, 25 books. This is wild, guys. 25 books. I'm literally about to drop all these. 25 books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also picked up these 7 recently at Barnes. And most of these are historical fiction by Black authors. So if you guys want more recs that are like that, I did get a romance and a thriller in that as well. So you guys can go back and watch my most recent video that I just posted on Tuesday. And we're also gonna do more book shopping on in the next video because books make me happy and I read a lot and there are worse things that I could be doing than book shopping. So hope you guys enjoy this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.